guys, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new, welcome to my channel. I usually post hair videos, but today I wanted to do something a little bit different. By the way, happy February. We are currently on February 4th, and one of my goals for this year was to read more. I think last year I read maybe 2 books at the most. So one goal that I made for this year was to read 1 book a month, and I know that's nothing super easy, but coming from somebody who only read 1 book in an entire year, just makes sense for me to start small. In January, I read 3 books, and I actually didn't start reading them until maybe the second to last week in January. I know I was late to the party, but whatever, I did it. So I want to do this thing every month where I kind of just tell you guys what I read the month before and give you like a quick little overview of the book. Really, I feel like this is just gonna keep me accountable, because we all know with New Year's resolutions, by like March, we already done fell off track. I literally read a ton of things, whether it be fact, fiction, like self-help, religious books, whatever the case may be, I'm into it. So hopefully we can chat down in the comments below about what books you guys are reading, and if they're interested, I'll add them to my collection and maybe they'll pop up on my monthly book review. So anyways, let's just get started with the books. The first one I read was this book. It's called The Tattooist of Auschwitz, and it's based on a true story. It's about a guy named Lel Sokolov. He was a Slovakian Jew, and he was in the concentration camp. So it's basically about like his time in the concentration camps. I don't know why that's such a tongue twister. His time in the concentration camps, and about his love story with another person that was in the camps. Her name was Jita. And honestly, this book, I could not put it down. It took me maybe 2.5 days maybe to read the whole thing, and there are 274 pages in it. I'm really into like true story biography type books. I don't know, some of the stuff that it talked about in this book, it was like crazy, right? Obviously we all know about the concentration camps and like the Holocaust and things like that, but just to read an actual experience of somebody that was there, it just blows my mind. Like, how can people be so freaking cruel in this world? And it's also a great story about how love can like propel you forward. It really was his love for this woman Jita that like kept him pushing and kept him going, and just encouraged him the entire time he was there, all the way up until his escape. And I'm not gonna ruin the end of the story and tell you guys how it ends, but I will say that obviously it says it's based on a true story. So as soon as I finished reading it, I went online to look these people up, and I saw a lot of articles about how some of the stuff in this book is not true. Like how some of the facts in the book and like the details in the book don't really line up with historical facts about what actually happened. You know how the truth is. Everybody has their own version of the truth, and I guess this was Lel's version of the truth. I'm just gonna leave that little nugget there. I love the book personally. I mean, whether it was fact or fiction, it would be really cool if it was fact like it says it is, but even if it's just like a fictional book, great read. So the second book I read in January was kind of a lot different. It was The Screwtape Letters by C.S. Lewis. C.S. Lewis, he's actually the author of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, which is really cool, but he has a ton of religious books. This one in particular, y'all, so it's not meant to be like a factual book about Christianity, but this book really made me think. It is about Screwtape, one demon, who is writing letters to another demon, Wormwood. Wormwood is on Earth. He has a subject, he has a human that he's trying to like claim his soul, and Screwtape is basically giving him advice on how to do so. So we don't see Wormwood's letters back to Screwtape, but based on Screwtape's responses to Wormwood, we kind of get a feel for what Wormwood is saying. And obviously Wormwood is just like not all there. You can tell this is his first project where he's trying to actually gain a soul for Satan, and Satan basically is what he's doing. The reason why I say this made me think is because even though it's not like a real story, I feel like Satan really does try to play with our minds, and like any situation that we're in, Satan is gonna try to twist that situation. Even if it's good, to mess with our minds and get us to sin against God. And you're probably like, okay, duh, like that's what Satan does. But it's like the most subtle things that you don't even think about. Like, for example, one of the parts that really stuck with me in this book is the guy, like the human on earth, he actually becomes a Christian, he converts to Christianity, and Screwtape is basically telling Wormwood, like, this isn't good for them, but at the same time, it can be good because they can use that new pride that we have in Christianity to get us to sin against God. I know I was recently going through a situation, and it's like I was very proud of myself that I did not allow the enemy to take me to where he was trying to take me, and like I really relied on God to get me through that situation. And if I'm not careful, that can turn into me like saying I can handle any situation, like I got this, blah blah blah, I can do it. And you see, I said nothing but I, and God was nowhere in those thoughts of mine. And it's also like I can start to look down on other people who can be experiencing a similar situation, but they're handling it like completely different. And I can look at them and say, ooh, like that's why you should have had God in your life, blah blah blah. That's prideful. And even though we are Christians, that is the way the enemy can use us to kind of stray away from those Christian values. And I never thought of it like that. You know, you think, okay, you're a Christian, yes, you're gonna fall short because you're human, but you are like pushing forward. And I never really considered how the enemy can use literally every single scenario that we find ourselves in to just turn us against God. So this book, I would say it's a difficult read just because it's not like the way people talk today. So it's not like the way I'm talking to you right now. It definitely has like I don't even know how to describe it. There's a word for it, but I just don't know what it is. But it's a book that you probably are gonna have to take your time with. Like I was able to read it in a few days, but if you're not somebody that's like used to reading and familiar with bigger words and things like that, it can take you a little while, because I'm definitely that person where if I don't know what a word means, I'm gonna go look it up. So that's that. I would highly, highly, highly recommend this book. It is amazing. And I actually realized that I have a complete collection of C.S. Lewis books. So like I have this one separately and I have another one, his book separately, but in looking through my books for February, I was like, oh crap, I actually have a collection of like 7 of his books in one. So that'll probably be mixed into my February books somehow, some way. And then the last book that I read in January was autobiography, Around the Way Girl by Taraji P. Henson. Out of all the biographies or autobiographies that I've read, I would say that this one had me the least satisfied. It's like, okay, this book has 242 pages, and I feel like I don't know anything more about Taraji P. Henson than I would if I were to like look her up online. I just feel like she kind of scratched the surface of the details of her life, and I'm like, this is your book. Like I should know everything about you from your book. When I read Becoming by Michelle Obama, or even what's Gabrielle Union's book? I'm Gonna Need Another Drink or something like that. I felt like I knew everything about them. Or like the details that I wanted to know, I feel like they went above and beyond to like give me more insight into what was happening with them, or like what was going on in their head, and exactly what happened in that situation, like who was involved, blah, blah, blah. And I don't feel like I got that from Taraji P. Henson's book. If you guys have read this book and you disagree, let's discuss it in the comments. But I really feel there was like not a lot of information about her love life except for her baby's dad, or her son's father, because I hate saying like baby daddy, whatever, except for her son's father. I mean, she does open up a little bit about like growing up in the hood and things like that, but I don't know how to explain it. And it says an engaging read, as much a manual on acting as it is a memoir. And I do feel like she gave like encouragement for people who are trying to pursue a career in the arts. Like she does mention a lot about how, you know, it wasn't easy for her. These are some of the things that she came across, and this is like how she overcame those situations. But it's like, I'm not trying to be an actor. I'm not trying to be a rapper, a director, a singer, anything like that. I want to know about you, about your life. Like, outside of you being an actress and like the struggles you had to go through to be an actress. I mean, granted, those things probably helped make her the person that she is today, but I don't know. I just feel like it scratched the surface and it wasn't really, like, this is not a book I would say, oh, I want to read it again, like how I want to read Becoming Again. So those are the 3 books that I read in January. I actually just started my first book of February today. It is Battlefield of the Mind by Joyce Meyer. This is another Christian author, and it's just basically talking about, well, I'll get into that next month. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I know it's a little bit different than what you're used to, but I really just kind of want to start trying new things at this point. My channel is like whatever, like it sounds bad to say, but maybe I'll make a video about like how my channel has become stagnant and like how I feel about it and things like that. Let me know if you're interested in that as well, because I feel like I got, you know, something to say. It may or may not encourage people out there. So yeah, thank you guys so much again for watching. Don't forget to let us know in the comments about your good reads that you found. Since you're here, you might as well check out another video. I'm sure there's going to be one about hair, which is what my channel is normally about. You know, subscribe to my channel, all that good stuff.